All right, family. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Guillotine News Network. I am your faithful host, Guillotine, and we today are going to get into a special edition called The Minority Report. But before I go ahead and get into that, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, for all of your love and support. A special shout out to the Guillotine Army. Been doing a lot of work out there on the airwaves and the internet, spreading that truth. I see you. I see you, family. Chopping the heads of lies, falsehood, and deception is what we're all about here at the Guillotine News Network. So once again, family, thank you for tuning in to this special edition of the Minority Report. Now let's go ahead and get into the Minority Report. Now, if you're familiar with that Tom Cruise movie called The Minority Report, see, I want to show us how Hollywood is always shooting these subliminal messages before they begin to launch their full-fledged attacks upon the citizens of America. Most of the time, they put what they're going to do in advance in movies, and they have a certain segment of the entertainment industry under control. So they put out subtle and sometimes not so subtle signs of what's about to transpire. But if you remember in the movie The Minority Report, they had a crime unit that had the ability to arrest, detain, and in some cases kill the citizens of America before they had even committed a crime. Maybe I'm just looking a little bit more into it than what it really is. Maybe some people will say, he's a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. All I know is that this movie came out and you have Patriot Acts and certain things that have come and been passed by the U.S. government that now have allowed them legally to arrest you, to detain you indefinitely, and in some cases, kill you before you have even been proven in the court of law to have committed a crime. Now, I'm going to do this on two levels actually three. Because on one hand, when you hear minority, you think of, for the most part, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, Native Americans. When you hear the word minority, you think of the melanated or people of color, people that have melanin, a little bit more melanin than the Caucasian race. So this particular show, if you follow me, is going to encompass damn near the whole society if you understand the complexity of this Minority Report. So on one hand, you see the Minority Report, you think, this is just about black people. But I'm going to show you how Hollywood is really, if you have a broad mind and you're not narrow-minded, you will understand what the true meaning of that movie, The Minority Report, is all about, and how here at the Guillotine News Network, we will deal primarily, we will have special segments, special reports, special updates that will be Minority Report based. So you have one area where you think, some people think minority, they think blacks, okay? But I'm going to open up your mind for the narrow-minded people. Then you have another segment of society where you have the upper echelon. Now the upper echelon, though they say that they're the 1% of the rich and the elite, they consider themselves major. They consider themselves the major players, the major movers and shakers, the major people that have major money and major power. And then they look at the rest of society as your minor. You have minor issues. You really don't have any major power. You have minor power, meaning the power that we give you. So they see themselves as the major. They're the ones that give you or us, in their mind, what they want to give us, what they want to hand down to the minor people. You're small. So you get what I'm trying to say. So the minority is not just in the elite's mind, the blacks. So get out of this separatism mindset, black and white people, because from their perspective, the masses of the everyday people are the minority. We don't have any major power. So though they have us down here at the ground level fighting and squabbling amongst one another over the crumbs that the major players throw down to the minor servants and peasants and average everyday citizens, they see the majority of the minority society, the lower society, as peons. So they lump us all in one boat as minorities. But I'm going to backtrack towards the black people and brown people. Stop calling yourself minorities. Stop calling yourselves minorities. You are not the minority globally speaking. Black and brown people are the majority of the planet. We are actually the majority of the planet. We outnumber the Caucasian race 11-1. You do your research. So, U.S., the New York Times, the U.S. News, the Huffington Post has reported that the white majority will be gone by 2043. White people will be the minority in America. They're already Caucasians. You're already the minority youth-wise. In the high schools, middle school, and elementary school populations across America, you're already the minority. So let's get away from this mindset of division, because if we don't come together, they're going to all out slaughter us, and they're going to manipulate us to do a lot of the killing amongst ourselves. And then they'll just come in and finish off the rest of the remaining divided forces. That's what they're planning on doing. So remember, the Minority Report with Tom Cruise, if they just suspected that the minority, because this wasn't a majority report, this was for the minority, meaning if you remember in that movie, they was arresting black and white people. So white people, they don't see you unless you are part of those elite as a major player. They see you as the minority too. So what we need to do, family, is start being a little bit more wiser in how we move about in this world. Because they're killing us on all fronts. First of all, most of us don't even pay attention to the news. We don't even know the laws and the different regulations that are being passed down. So we need to tighten up on that. The other thing that we need to do is they're killing us on all fronts. They're dumbing down America in the school system. If you have an opportunity to take your children out of the United States school system and homeschool them or send them to charter schools, that would probably be wise. They're literally killing the children's minds with foolishness. The other front that they're killing us on is they have scientific warfare and how they are actually killing us through the food and the water. So you need to be a little bit more involved in the knowledge of what's going on in this world. And that's what the Minority Report will be based on. We're going to touch base on the laws, the rules, the regulations, the different strategies that they are employing upon the minority, which is all of the lower echelon people who are not the elite in America. So they're killing us through the water. They're putting fluoride in there. If you're not familiar with the fluoride is very poisonous and harmful to the human body. That's why you find a lot of cancer and tumors and a lot of diseases popping up in the human population. ADD and ADHD and Alzheimer's. There's a lot of things going on. I know a lot of us like the different fruit beverages, the different soda drinks and the different fruit drinks. You need to read the back of that. And if it contains high fructose syrup, you need to put that down. If it contains high fructose corn syrup, you need to put that down and do not give that to your children. You are destroying their immune systems. And don't drink it yourself. Be a little bit more wise about the different foods that you're eating. Try to make sure that the meat and the chicken, if you're eating meat and chicken, they're not filled with all type of hormones, because those hormones go into you, and those chemicals and those shots that they shoot into these cows and these if you eat lamb or chicken, that those hormones go into you, once again causing the human population to have all type of deterioration. So you also want to make sure that if you can find out, which you should be able to find out, what kind of food they feed the cows and the chickens. If it's genetically modified corn, you do not want to eat that chicken, that cow, that meat, because it will have a disastrous effect upon your body. Okay, so these are some of the things that we're going to cover today. And I would say to each and everybody who is listening to this particular edition of the Minority Report, stay away from pork. Stay away from the pork. If you truly understood how poisonous pork was and how the elite do not touch it, the elite do not consume it, and the wise people of the world do not eat pork. Pork, as a matter of fact, is food that is given to the low levels of the population. The elite do not eat pork. The wise people in this world do not touch pork. It has strychnine in it. It has a worm in it that you cannot kill. And that worm will work its way into your spinal cord and up into your brain. It actually causes you The eating of pork causes you to deteriorate. It causes you to age quicker. It also takes the sharpness and the quickness off of your mind, so you don't think it's quick. If you look at two different sets of people, a person that does not eat pork and a person who eats pork, they look different. They do not look the same. The non-pork eater looks a lot healthier and stronger. They have a stronger immune system and they're quicker. They have a quicker mind. The fecal matter or the feces or the duty of the pig has something called physteria. You can look it up. Pfisteria. I'm going through this quickly. The physteria, this fecal matter or feces, is 1,000 times more deadly than cyanide. This is the poop that comes from the pig. So just think about this for a minute. Why would you want to eat an animal anyway that has worms in it? Why would you want to eat an animal that eats its own feces, its own poop? Why would you want to eat an animal that's feces is more deadly than cyanide? We got to do better, family. They're killing us on all fronts. The women, they're getting you by these hormones that they're putting in these foods, and it's causing you to have all type of ovarian cancer, breast cancer. Men, you're eating this bad food. You're drinking all of this alcohol and ingesting all of this tobacco into your system, which is killing your strength. That's why you see a lot of men that are on Viagra. It's taking away your strength manhood-wise. So let's remember, stop eating all around the clock. I'll get into this at a later date and time on another show. Stop eating all around the clock 3 and 4 and 5 times a day. You should be able to get by just fine with 1 or 2 meals a day. There's scientific studies on this, family. But if you're not going to do that, at least start to eat right. At least start to eat right, family. We have to come together as a people, unified. There cannot be any more black against white, white against black, brown against black, black against brown, yellow against brown. All of that has to stop because the elite don't give a damn about any of us. They don't give a damn about any of us, and they are the main perpetrators of causing the division amongst the people of the earth. They got you looking at your own citizens, your own neighbors, as being so much different than you when they see us all and they lump us all together. So let's come together at least on those things which we can agree upon. Let's begin to be a strong nation, unified under one banner of freedom, justice, and equality. I thank you all for listening and tuning in to another edition of the Guillotine News Network. Thank you all. God bless. Peace. Holla.